Right, hello everyone. Welcome to today's stream. It is Saturday and the Premier League is back. And I'm so looking forward to this. This is a massive, massive game to start with. We are watching Liverpool take on Manchester City at the Etihad, which is a traditionally difficult game for Liverpool. But also, I mean, looking at how Liverpool play, they're going to pose some problems. There's no question about that. As I move my headphones out of the way, there are no questions about the fact that Liverpool are going to they're going to pose problems for this Man City team. The question is, can they pose enough problems to get them going? That's the so not to get them going. What am I talking about? So to get a win at the Etihad, which I don't think, if you look back at the history of it, they've not won at the Etihad very often, if at all. I don't even think in the year they won the league they won at the Etihad. No, they didn't. I don't think they did. The only time I've seen Liverpool win at the Etihad in any competition, I think, was the what was it? It was the Champions League. That Champions League quarter final that they beat City in the second leg at the Etihad. I think in the end, I think there was a one-off game they won. They won that one-off game. With the Salah and Mane goals. But yeah, it's a really difficult place to go for Liverpool. But it's also a game which I think City need to establish themselves as real. And this sounds really weird saying this, as real title contenders, because if you look back so far this season, they've not really played that many top teams. I'm trying to think. They've played United yet. I think they might have done. I can't remember, but I'm not really sure I'd call United as a title contender. I suppose my point is they've played Arsenal, they've lost. So they need to win this game. They absolutely need to win this game. Otherwise, it's just not. It's not massively feasible. I think. I think people are going to start, even if they lose. People are saying that they'll be fine. They'll still go on and win the title. I think I suppose they can afford to lose this game, but losing these games against teams that could potentially be your title rivals is a real risk because it's a 6-pointer. You will end up losing ground, quite a lot of ground, as Arsenal found out when they lost twice to City last season. And if you flip that and put it the other way, and Arsenal won both of those games, they might not win the league, but they go really close to winning the league, like within a point, I think, in the end. Because I think they finished 5 points behind them, but City have basically given up the last couple of games and they lost a couple of games at the end of the season. So, I don't know. I think they might have won or lost the league by a point if they'd have won those games against City. Whereas this season, I think it's going to be a closer. There's a bunch of teams competing for that second spot, and I think it's going to be probably Arsenal to finish in that second spot. But it's tough to call who are going to be the closest challengers. I don't know what Sky are doing here. The cameraman's kind of following the three presenters, but behind them, not even in the right place. Oh, no, never mind. So yeah, today I am not streaming Brentford Arsenal later. I'm not doing that because I'm going to be busy. So I'll be watching as much of it as I can, but I won't be able to stay for the whole game. So that's why I'm not streaming it. Otherwise, I would be able to stream the whole game. But I will be streaming Arsenal against Lens on Wednesday, which I'm really looking forward to as well. I think the thing with these streams, it's going to be quite a kind of pick and choose. I'm not going to be flooding it with loads and loads of inputs. Not input, loads of streams all the time. That's not going to happen. I'm going to do the Man United game tomorrow. And then we've got obviously Arsenal Lens on Wednesday. I won't be able to do the Man United game, which happens earlier. I think they're playing Bayern Munich, which will be a good game. It's a shame I won't be able to watch it, which I'm disappointed at. And then we've got next weekend. I can't remember what game we're playing then. I think we might be playing Arsenal. Well, we'll see. In fact, let me have a look at my calendar. I will have a look at this because I've got it on my calendar. And I have already booked in all of these streams. So next, so we've got PSG. So PSG Newcastle on Tuesday as well, which is big. So we've got PSG Newcastle on Tuesday, Arsenal Liverpool, Arsenal Lens on Wednesday, and then we've got Arsenal. Who's this? Arsenal against Wolves. I think they're playing at 3 o'clock, and it doesn't look like there's any other games. Don't think there's any other games. I'm going to have a look at the week here because, yeah, Man City Spurs next week is the Sunday game, but I'm not streaming the 12 o'clock, 12:30, or the 5:30 kickoff next Saturday. I'm not sure why that is. I'm guessing that's because they're not worth watching, probably. And then Luton Arsenal on the Tuesday after that, the 5th, and then Spurs West Ham on the 7th. And then I don't think there's anything I can do, yeah, because Arsenal Villa I'm going to be busy for. So that following weekend's actually a bit dead, isn't it? Look at that. That's a shame. Unless I haven't. Oh no, I haven't actually picked anything. That's why. Cool. So I'm going to get on with that at some point. But yeah. So what a big game. I think if we look at the lineups actually, so I've got the table at the moment, which you can see that Spurs are not Spurs, City. I've been so used to saying Spurs are top, which is really disgusting. City are top, Liverpool second, Arsenal third, Spurs fourth, Villa fifth, and then there's a big gap to Man United in sixth. It's a really big game for this one, I think, just because City, if they win, obviously just looking at the pure mathematics of the table, they put a 4 point gap between them and Liverpool, which and the rest of the league, which means it puts massive pressure on Arsenal to beat Brentford away from home, which they should do. You'd think they should do. But we've got a history of going to Brentford and struggling. Having said that, I think this Arsenal team is a lot more equipped to deal with the physical teams in the Premier League, with players like Rice added. And we've missed Partey, but I think Jorginho's a really good player to play out from the back with. We've got Saliba and Gabriel, who are both physical, and Saliba's really fast as well. And then Ben White might be injured, but Tomiyasu's played really well this season already. And we're probably going to play Zinchenko at left back, or we could play Kivior at left back as well. So we'll see. And then obviously the front three kind of speaks for itself. So it's a very, very good team. So we could be looking at a situation at the end of the day where City are top with 31 points and Arsenal are second on 30 points. And then potentially tomorrow, because Spurs are playing Villa, they might end up losing, or if they draw. I think from an Arsenal point of view, Arsenal want both of these big games, the City Liverpool and Villa Spurs, to be draws. Because if you get them to draw, Arsenal would probably be top, and with a bit of a gap as well. A little bit of a gap. Not much of a gap, but a little bit of a gap. I think it'd be a point. There'd be a point clear of City. So we'll see. I think we're kind of going a bit ahead of ourselves here, but it's a massive, massive game. I think this one. And over the years, I've really, really enjoyed. I've really enjoyed watching City play Liverpool, and the competitiveness of. Oh yeah, goodness, but that's they're actually playing a kind of a highlights reel of some of the best games that these two have shared. And this is what in a few years' time, this is what hey Morvo Knox, welcome to the stream, man. Oh, sorry, I didn't notice your chat. Welcome to the stream. The Vikings. I think you might be talking about a different kind of football, mate. I did actually watch. Oh, what was that? Oh yes, hang on. What was that? Was that follow from who is it? Shos. You know what? Thank you very much for the follow. I can't actually keep up with this. I have watched a bit. I watched the first bit of American football this season last weekend. Was it the 49ers? I watched a little bit of. Looked quite good. Ah, hey, thank you. Thanks, Skoz. So yeah, the beard. That beard looks fire. Suits you well. Thank you. I know it was. Morve. It's a bit difficult to do sarcasm on a chat because there's no facial expression to go with it. So I was like, I don't know what to go with that. I actually don't know why Lamau is being checked. Oh, I'm going to allow that. That's fine. There you go. It's quite a strict chat bot on this one, I'm afraid. It's not something, because the chat hasn't necessarily been that active in the first few streams that I've done, as you'd expect, 'cause it's the first time I've streamed in ages. So yeah, so soccer, yeah. Are you from Morvo? Are you from the UK or are you from the US? Because I mean, I think my brother lives in the US, and when I went over to visit him in um uh when was it? It's like 2019. You're in the US. Okay, so you're watching this at like what, 8 in the morning? Is it 8 or 7 in the morning over there? I know that it was like ridiculous o'clock over there when I watched a game or two. No, it wasn't ridiculous. It was like 9, I think. We watched the late game. It's 6 in the morning, mate. That's commitment, man. Flip it, Nora. 6 in the morning on a Saturday morning. I couldn't do it, man. I was like, I just wouldn't be able to, unless you give me all the night games. So you've got when the Premier League sometimes do 8 o'clock kickoffs or 5:45 kickoffs, then I would probably watch them in the US. But 12:30, man. But yeah, we pretty much sat down and had our breakfast and watched Arsenal Wolves, which was a really frustrating game to watch because back at the time we were shocking. We were really, really bad. Being an Arsenal fan, by the way, if you didn't know. Yeah, we were really, really bad. And I think Aubameyang scored a last minute goal, and they're not drawing the game. But it as like just being able to spend some time with my brother and watch a bit of football in the US was really cool. And you guys have got so much more access to live football than we have as well. Well, that's not necessarily true. You've got more access in terms of the amount of money that you spend on it. It's just way, way more value for money than here. You have to spend so much money to watch top level football in this country. But yeah, so we've got about 18 minutes or so till kickoff. The other thing I wanted to talk about before we start, which will just let me just show you the lineups actually before I do. I will talk about what I'm going to talk about there for a second. But we've got Edison. Let me just turn off studio mode here because then I can actually see these properly. So we've got Edison in goal, Carl Walker, Diaz, Ake, and then midfielders of Rodrigo or Rodri with Alvarez, Bernardo Silva, and Akanji, and then Haaland, Doku, and Foden. Interesting. They went with Doku against Liverpool. I think it makes sense that they would go with Doku in this game against Liverpool because Liverpool play with such a high line. I'll get to your message in a second, Morway. They play with such a high line that um, that it's quite a tricky balance to strike because you want to keep the ball, you want to dominate the ball against this Liverpool team. If you can do that, I think you probably win because of the way that City can play through you and the ball in behind for Haaland or in this case Doku. I think he does this really, really, yeah. So I'm not going to allow swearing in the chat, mate. Sorry. If you could just send that again, but just without the swear word, that'd be great. Cheers. So what's my team? It's Arsenal. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But first, what I want to mention, as I bought my lunch today, so I've got a Pepsi Max bottle, which is weird actually. By the way, these stupid FC24 things don't work in the UK, but they still sell them here. Ridiculous. Don't understand. They work in the US. Weirdly, yeah. So, what's a proper serious thing for me, Morvo? What is it that you're saying is a proper serious thing? And yeah, so hang on, what was I talking about? Yeah, so playing Doku with a high line. Oh, I love football, mate. I love watching it. If I could play it, I would, but my knees are shocking. Yeah. It's a proper serious thing for me, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love talking about it, love watching it. If I could play it, I would, but my knees are shot. Every time I go and play any kind of real kind of moving around physical sport. Oh, this goal from Salah is amazing, by the way. When he scored the goal with Edison out of Why no swearing? Just a rule I have, mate. Just a rule I have. It's not something I like to kind of put myself around too much. I can put up with it from time to time when I'm watching content, but like it's not something I necessarily want to be involved with. I'm afraid, and trying to kind of keep it clean in the chat is something that I want to try and do as much as I can. And if people can't do that, then chatting is part of it's a privilege of being involved in this in streams. And if you can't keep it clean, then I'm probably quite different to a lot of other streamers who would allow that kind of thing and might swear themselves, and you won't catch me doing that. Um, so even when I'm really angry with Arsenal, like you won't catch me doing that. Uh, but that to be fair, recently with Arsenal hasn't happened because they've just played very very well for the last couple of years. It's been really really good. There's only been I'd have to go back like 2 years to a time when I'm absolutely livid with the team, and that was when we played Spurs away and Newcastle away to finish in the top four 2 years ago. Yeah, so I was talking about something. Then what was it? Playing with a Yeah, so football's a big thing for me, and I'll be doing these streams every so often. Arsenal play in London, mate. They play in London, which is the capital of England. That sounds patronising. If you didn't know, sorry. But yeah, they're in London. There's a lot of teams in London actually for Arsenal in the Premier League. You've got Arsenal, you've got Chelsea, you've got Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur. You've got who else? Technically Brentford are London, but they're quite close. Yeah. I thought you would be. Yeah, sorry. So when I said it, I was like, yeah, that sounds really patronizing, mate. Don't say that. That's silly. But yeah, so they've there's a lot of London teams, and um, usually when you have those London derbies, they're really big games, and it's a bit. I'm trying to think of a comparison. It's difficult to because I'm not as into American sports as some people are in the UK. But if you think about two rival colleges in the US kind of playing in a game, there would probably be quite a lot of rivalry there just simply because of the geography of how close they are. Um, this Liverpool Man City team game is a bit different. They are quite close to it. Liverpool and Manchester are quite close to each other, but it's not a local rivalry in that sense. It's more of a competitive rivalry because both teams have been at the top of the Premier League for years. Is like Liverpool's resurgence started back in. So yeah, you played a bit of high school football and college football. Nice. I mean, so yeah. Um, and I tell you what, actually, American football is something that I feel like I could probably get more involved with from a tactical point of view because I love the. That's the other reason why I'm doing these streams is we're talking about the tactics behind the game. Um, I really enjoy kind of diving really deep into like why is that player positioned there? He's covering this player, he's trying to run him behind and that kind of thing. And the one tactical choice I like to see from City at the moment is they're choosing Doku at left wing because there's now a competition between Doku and Grealish. Doku's a really direct, very, very fast winger he will go when he gets the ball, he'll go out of players all the time. Grealish is not quite like that. He's a more technical footballer. He can go at players, but he will probably try and dribble around them rather than just go at them with pace. But he will very often dribble towards the player and then cut back and and give the ball back to someone in the midfield. And that makes a kind of big difference, I think, to a Man City team because it'll work. That kind of tactic, I think, works against the lower ranked teams in the Premier League because they'll sit back. They're not going to go at you. So you need to really keep the ball, recycle the ball, put pressure on the opposition. Whereas playing with Doku against the big teams exposes a high line. Weirdly, I'm pretty sure Doku played against Arsenal, and we actually did all right. Ben White did a really good job on Doku last season when we played them at the Emirates. So it's it is kind of horses for courses, I think, for City, but it's really interesting to see they've made this decision against Liverpool, who are famous for playing a really high line. And they want to, it'll be interesting to see if Liverpool keep that up against this City team. Because if you watched Tottenham Chelsea and Tottenham and Man City Chelsea, both games, you had both teams, especially Tottenham Chelsea, both teams were playing such high lines, it was ridiculous. The defense was so high up the pitch that they ended up, all it would take was one simple running behind and a ball over the top, and they were in on goal. If Liverpool start doing that kind of thing today and don't put the pressure high up the field and really press the opposition, they're going to concede goals. There's no question, because this City team are, they don't, I don't think they would prefer to play um, transition football, because that you lose a lot of control playing transition football. But if you offer them the opportunities, they're lethal. They've got players like Haaland, um, Foden, and Doku, who recently have scored a lot of goals. So we'll see. I'm just going to take a second break for a second, just to drink something, because I'm going to need to. I'm going to be talking for 2 hours or so. The comment, okay, Morvu's sent a a message. The common misconception with American football is that it's a dumb boy sport. The only big dumb guys slam one another. That's not true at all. Yeah, I've seen a lot of games and I love the tactics behind it. The truth is that football is a game of incredible arts of tactic. It's a tactician's game, very much like the American military. It thrives on discipline and fitness. It absolutely does, yeah. And I think some of the commitment that's shown from American sports, we've actually adopted in the Premier League. And there's a lot of teams in the Premier League that have sent scouts over to watch American sports like football, like basketball, like hockey, like what's the other one I'm missing? Oh, uh, baseball as well. And the tactics and the thought that goes into it. Yeah, there you go, baseball. Yeah. So, and the tactics and the thought that goes into all of those sports is huge. It's they use iPads and tablets and things like that to track movement of individual players, and so you could change this movement by a small amount, but it's those small amounts that make a big difference in the highly competitive sports. And if you think about things like esports, where a singular movement within a nanosecond quicker than someone else ends up winning you a game and eventually kind of higher up titles and that kind of thing, you want to be able to make those changes to enable that speed of thought to happen quicker than your opponent. And I mean, Arsenal are one of the teams, absolutely, that have taken that on. And there's that look at marginal gains, which I think we've had in British sport over the years, but I don't think it's necessarily it's been taken to this level in football before. And that makes a really, really big difference. That makes a massive difference. And you even look at teams like Brentford, who Arsenal are playing tonight. Brentford are very famous for looking for those kind of marginal gains, because they'll look at chinks in the opposition's armor and try and change the way that they play to expose those chinks. And yeah, I think it makes it really big. Yeah, there is a misconception, I think, in the UK especially, about some American sports. And then, I mean, I'd be interested to know what the American perspective is on a lot of British sports. Obviously, I think soccer or football is quite well um it's quite well received in the US now, because of the promotion of the Premier League and the Champions League. And I think a lot of, when I was there, it was definitely up there as one of the most promoted non-US sports. I might be the most promoted non-US sport there at the moment. So I think it makes. Oh, is that Daniel Sturridge hugging Jurgen Klopp? They used to be workmates back in the day. Daniel Sturridge used to play for Liverpool, of course. He's now a regular pundit for Sky Sports, which actually he's growing into the role. I think I didn't necessarily like what he said sometimes I can't remember which game it was now. I think it was the City Chelsea game. I was a bit meh. I think he was kind of kissing up to a few particular fan groups, which I wasn't a fan of that. but he's fitting in quite nicely. I'm not listening to any of the commentary because I want to try and stay neutral, not neutral, but I don't want to be influenced by what people are saying in the commentary here. I just want to kind of watch the game and see what happens. But it's a yeah, it's a really interesting tactical change that City have made with introducing Doku into the team compared to last season. Where last season they basically had Grealish on the left, and that was more or less it. I can't think of anyone else that they've had. Um, yeah, I can't think of anyone else they've had who've. Oh, there's a reason why. I've missed something here. There's a reason why Grealish. It might not be tactical then. I'm spending so many times, so long talking about this, and apparently there's a reason why Grealish is not in the team. I need to look up this. Let's see. So looking on the BBC Sport website just to see. Also, there is this well, I'll talk about this while we're waiting to find this. The that if you do well against City, that means you're a title challenger. Wolves beat Man City earlier this season. They're not going to be a title challenger. Let's be clear. Like, I don't think what's happened here. Yeah, there's no explanation about. Oh, okay, hang on. If I just search Grealish, then I suppose I'll find it that way, won't I? Let's just search Grealish because that'll probably be easier. Grealish news due to illness. Okay, so he's ill. Right, fair enough. So it's not a tactical change. It's just a change because they can do it. So here we go. Then the players are walking out onto the pitch. Huge game, obviously, for this. I'll allow that comment. That's fine. So for me, the perspective on football in the UK is based on mutual athletic respect. I think the stereotypes are unimportant. This sissy attitude that some Americans have are unfounded. I think athletes are athletes, gymnasts, footballers, what have you. I have respect for the game regardless. Yeah, absolutely. I think I think there's because it's not as. I mean, if you've seen rugby, goodness me, like rugby is crazy in terms of like it's like imagine if you've got the American football stuff, but you remove all of the protection that's in the game. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I've played rugby, and when I was at school, rugby was an opportunity to get back at all the bullies that have been bullying me for the week because I could absolutely deck them and not have a problem, and they're usually quite surprised by that. So, um, and yeah, so there is that like athletic abilities do range. Like you got little people, but then you got big. And this is why I love American football because you get the little guys, but you also get the big guys, and they're massive, doing weights every day and that kind of thing. And the work they put in is crazy. This is the other thing I want to talk about as well. By the way, the formation that Man City have been playing for the last year or two, this 3-2-4-1. Obviously, it's not a fixed formation. That's not how it works. But it kind of if you didn't know, there's a formation that existed back in the 1940s in England called the WM formation. It was 3-2-2-3. That's basically how it was structured, and usually had three kind of what they call deep defenders. And it was back when the offside law was different, so you were allowed to have those three defenders were allowed to be there, and then the two defenders in front of them were actually the offside line, which then made it very awkward for players who wanted to kind of run in behind because it's just impossible. Really, they weren't able to do that. So yeah, so that also enabled like complete control, and it's amazing how now we're about 90 years later, 80, 90 years later, and we're kind of gone back to a WM formation now. Because if you look at the way the 3-2-4-1, that 4 is split into, you've got the two wingers who will often be really high up the pitch, and the two behind them will actually usually kind of go quite wide as well. So they'll end up kind of joining. And I wish I had a tactics board to kind of show you, but it would be, you'd have those two pairs would kind of intersect. And watch in this game, that's what will happen. Because Bernardo Silva is gonna go and switch with Doku. I think sometimes. I know he did it against. They did play Man United. Of course they did. They beat Man United. But they swapped with with Grealish. Bernardo Silva and Grealish interchanged so well in that game, and he also went on the other side and interchanged with Foden on the other side, and it's a fantastic formation to use. I know Arsenal kind of use it a little bit, but not quite to the same extent. Here we go. We've kicked off. It's City against Liverpool then. And if you look at this formation, Ake's gone quite far forward. It does look a bit more. And this is the thing. It doesn't just stay as a 3-2-4-1. Like they switch. So the fullback that goes, I think usually, is it, trying to think, is it Akanji or Stones? I think, oh no, it'll probably be Akanji who steps into the midfield, or Ake. Hang on. Oh, I'm not sure. I think it might be Ake, actually. It's weird, because I don't really associate Ake or Akanji. Here's Doku on the left-hand side, running at Alexander-Arnold already. He puts the ball in for Haaland, but Haaland clears it out. Salah can't get that, and it's back. But yeah, looking at this, Ake stepping really far forward. You've got Rodri, you've got Walker. It's like those two fullbacks have kind of come inside, and that's a ball in behind again. Goodness me, City are all over Liverpool already, and it's only been a minute. Some people have been saying that the 12:30 kickoffs in the UK are kind of boring, and because the players aren't really up for it because it's 12:30 in the morning, in the afternoon, and I want to be a football announcer. I don't really mind. That's not necessarily something I do. I do lots of other things outside of this. This is like a passion project for me, really. So, but yeah, I mean, thanks for the compliment, Morvo. And it's just something I enjoy doing. And I remember once I was watching the Arsenal Man City game last season, and they that's a ball over. What's he doing there? Is that Van Dijk who's just absolutely? Oh dear, that's not gone well. That's McAllister's leapt for the ball and he's kind of gone for it. He's completely missed it. Oh yeah, sorry about the ads. It's gonna, it's kind of it's gonna happen every so often. I wish I could just change when the ads happen, so they don't happen until like in the middle of half time. Then that's the best place for it to happen because we're not actually watching the game. But yeah, he leapt for the ball and then kind of landed really awkwardly. It looks like he's okay though. But yeah, so it's what's this? So the defensive formation does look about right. It's like 3-2. Well, it might not even be 3-2 actually. I'm already more like 4. They're being quite yeah. So I didn't really say a lot, to be fair. Didn't really say a lot, but it's yeah. This is something that I do alongside a lot of other things. Haaland's pressing on Alisson there. He's being very careful. As Van Dijk, that's what I was saying. Van Dijk is maybe try and restart the stream, mate. You might get back on it. Yeah, Van Dijk just kind of hooks the ball forwards. It's probably more just a way of relieving pressure. Doku, but he gets outrun by Alexander-Arnold. Interesting. And yeah, so Liverpool just kind of playing the ball in the midfield. They're looking for the direct balls in behind. They've almost got. That's not going to get a free kick for that. And Alvarez. It's been nice. Oh, ads interrupted me. That's fine. Yeah. It's been nice. I mean, if you've got a Twitch Prime available, you can subscribe on Twitch Prime and you won't have the ads. I'm pretty sure. So here is Walker, and it's weird because Diaz looks a lot like Stones, but it isn't Stones playing, so it's kind of awkward. And Walker into Foden. Foden just about gets it through McAllister there. This might create a 2-on-1 here because they've got space on the other side. Here's Doku running at the defender on the other side again. Doku's coming inside and still coming inside. It's going to recycle it back out to Bernardo Silva. And Bernardo Silva shapes the ball in, and Haaland's almost there. Goodness me. If he was a bit faster, he was on it. It's Haaland by himself. He's the winger now. And that's wide. It's gone straight to a Liverpool player. Liverpool need to get, and this is why I think City are such a difficult team to play against this season, because they, in years gone by, City in that situation where they lost the ball would have been very, very vulnerable to a counter attack. But they've not. They've actually sorted that a little bit with the pace that they've got at the back. So no one is going to do that. They're betting on Twitch Prime, but the incentive is what? Subscribe or get your experience destroyed. I'm more likely to leave. Well, yeah, quite. I mean, I think it's a tricky thing. It's difficult. I think you can still see. It would be nice actually for you to still be able to like experience. Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. And that's like the Prime subscriptions. I think they do. It's like 50-50, or it might be more my way. And to be fair, like I do technically make money from. It's not much. It's like a penny or something for ads. It's not many, or like a cent in American terms. It's not much at all, and it's not. That's not why I do what I do at all. City just playing it around the back here, trying to find a way through the Liverpool press. But this is really interesting because I don't think this is like the watching the Tottenham Chelsea game, but except with two very mature teams who actually know how to play the high line, and they construct their press in a way that they're very difficult to play through. So yeah, that's very interesting. They're screwing you guys over, if anything, because now I want to go. Well, yeah, quite. I mean, that's I can only do what I can really, and I mean, I'm on YouTube as well, and YouTube doesn't have ads. Same name, Total Football Live. Here's Haaland going almost in on goal. He's almost got it. Oh, that's a lovely touchback. Doku goes inside and plays it back out to Bernardo Silva. And now to Diaz. He clips the ball wide to Walker. He doesn't control it. Is that going out for a goal kick? I think it may have done. Nope. It's interesting that Tsimikas is playing at left back as well. Obviously, Robertson not being there is a big miss for. It's a really big miss for Liverpool. It's a really, really big miss. But hey ho, that's kind of how it goes. You get a lot of injuries. Injuries has been quite a big talking point of a lot of people talking about football in the mainstream and outside of the mainstream. It's been very, very prevalent, the amount of injuries that have happened, especially big injuries. Andy Robertson is a small example, but not an insignificant example, because they don't really have a left back that's as good as Andy Robertson. I don't think anyone would if they had him in their team. And Tsimikas is okay, but I've never thought of him as that good, really. Van Dijk's venturing forward and has given the ball away. I don't think. I mean, if you look at City as well, so City are missing De Bruyne. Obviously, he's the big player they're missing. And who's the other player? Obviously, Robertson's missing for Liverpool. But if you think about the Liverpool team, there's not really that many other players I can think of they're missing. Of course, City have this ridiculously good home record. Let's see if my stats page is up yet. Yes, it is. Yeah. Let's just give me a second. I'm going to just change this round. I hope I'm not missing anything. There you go. So we've got. Has he just kept that in? He has. Yep. So City. City's home record for was it 23 wins in a row? I think, or something. It's kind of ridiculous. It's taking it back to like the Barca days when they used to win almost every game at home. So they've made they've made playing the Etihad very, very difficult for a lot of teams, and I think a lot of it is just people getting used to playing at home. That makes a really big difference. And teams find it very difficult to break down this team. Got to say as well, really difficult. 10 minutes gone. Starting to calm down a little bit. City still, I think, the more threatening team. If you look at the way they play, like City have got 5 forward on Liverpool's 4 players, which is quite aggressive, but they are playing at home. Liverpool, I think, can't afford. Oh, Alisson's giving the ball away to Foden in the box. That's a terrible shot, though. He's just, that was shocking from Alisson. It's like the worst that I've seen. I don't remember seeing Alisson play the ball out so badly before. That was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. I think Alisson's shouting his defense. I think it's because he wants more options here. He's got too many players just kind of waiting for the ball to come to them, and they're not doing anything else. Foden with the shot, it was shocking. Yeah, he's trying. I don't know what Alisson's trying to do there. I think he's trying to play it out to the wing back, but it's not going there at all. And if he's not given the options, the best thing Alisson could do is kick it long, and City are going to win the ball that way. I think the way that I would see City winning this game at the moment is they're going to grind Liverpool down, and eventually they're going to score. But I've not seen. I don't think I've ever seen Alisson that flustered before. But it's really interesting seeing how the how this team has evolved under Pep, because they weren't always like this. They often kept the ball and they attacked with a lot of ferocity, but they did have a lot of defensive issues. I think these days you put them against a Liverpool team who've scored a lot of goals this season, and all of a sudden they're very, very confident, very, very confident. Right. I'm just going to check this. That's fine. City still have the ball. I'm going to probably keep saying that. I don't know why I would keep saying that, but I am. Is that a ball through for Haaland? Oh, and again, he's not quite got that. Not quite got that, which is a shame. Van Dijk playing it out to Alisson. And this is the thing. When a goalkeeper makes one mistake, all of a sudden the whole team knows that he's under pressure at that point. And they're playing Alexander-Arnold as an inverted fullback as well, which is interesting. Still, I've not been convinced by him doing that in the big games. He against the smaller teams, yeah, you can get away with it, but I just don't think he's that good doing that. And now he's covering Doku, and he gets that in the end pretty well. That's good. Yeah, he's still playing. Oh, that's a bad touch from Matip. And Doku could be in, or Haaland. Nope. Plays it back to Doku. Are they going to allow Liverpool to reset? I think they might do. But they've got a ball in a very threatening position here. Doku on the left. He's played it in. And it's well headed out by Tsimikas. And there's... And Alexander-Arnold's going long again. I think that might be the play here. It's very transitional. Liverpool are not... And this is probably the thing that this is exposing a bit. This is not the same Liverpool team that played City and beat them a few times over the last few years. That's not the same Liverpool team at all. It's It's a very, very different Liverpool team. They don't look like they can play the ball through the thirds in a way that's threatening to City at all. And that might be because of the way City are set up. And I think that's probably fair. But at the same time, I think a Liverpool of a few years ago would have probably really pushed this City team. Rodri covers so much ground as well. The whole team just they all press as one, and it's very impressive to see. As you see, like there's no when you see the centre backs get the ball, there's not many options available to them at all. Like Liverpool, they've got Van Dijk, Alisson, and Matip, and then sometimes McAllister comes short to get the ball, but there's not much else going on. Simicast is that? No, it's not Simicast. Is that Jones playing in midfield? I didn't even read the. Yeah, it is. Interesting. Didn't know Curtis Jones was playing. That's I'm not sure about that. Really not sure about that at all. They're definitely playing a game that they want to try and keep the ball here. Liverpool. Matip's just run through the Man City midfield here. That's nice. Playing it out to Salah on the right hand side. There's many players in the box here. Oh, it's a header on target, and Jota heads it wide. Is it a corner? Tell you what, that was a chance for Liverpool. Kyle Walker made a really big interception there to get the ball wide for a corner. Salah with the ball in, and what happens here? So Nunez gets the header on target. It's a good save from Alisson, but it's not too difficult. It's kind of just here, so it's not too bad. And then what happens after that? He just heads it out. Well played. Jota was there, but he was cleared by Alisson. Really, and it ends up being a goal kick. What? Okay, well, that's ridiculous. I don't understand that. Never mind. Rodri gets the ball, just shields it, does very well, but ends up giving the ball away. And that's a nice ball into Jones. Now this could be interesting. The City all of a sudden, oh, Nunez is in. Nunez is, oh my goodness me, what has he done there? Nunez was in on goal. Absolutely in on goal. Is that a free kick to the City? It is, yeah. That was a great chance. Someone managed to get the ball in to Nunez there. I'd be interested to see if he was onside. I don't know if he was. He was. No, I don't think he would have been onside. I think it was very close, but I don't think he would have been onside. And he just dawdled on the ball and got it nicked off him. He just wanted a perfect opportunity. I would have just got that one touch, hit it. One touch, hit it, bottom corner. The thing is, though, that Nunez is not a clinical finisher. He likes to. I remember watching him play. Who was it? Luton, and he just gets the ball wide, dribbles inside, and shoots all the time from outside the box. When I think this Liverpool team doesn't necessarily want to play like that. Really, I just don't think it's not a high percentage chance for one thing, but also they've definitely they're much better at playing the ball into Nunez in the box, and he gets a header on target and that kind of thing. Ball in behind Walker, but he tidies that up pretty well. Jota looks a bit exasperated on the left-hand side there. I don't think he's. I'm surprised that Diaz isn't playing in this game, to be honest, because I think he's a better threat than Jota. But Diaz doesn't necessarily work as hard off the ball. I don't know. It's difficult, but I would, when you're trying to threaten this City back line and you want to give Walker as hard a time as possible, I don't think Jota's the answer. I think he's a good bench player. He's a good reserve player, but he's not a good. I don't think he's that good as a starter. Annoyingly, he's scored so many goals against Arsenal, though. I don't know why he's managed to do, or how he's managed to do that, but hey ho. Foden on the right hand side now. City just building the attack again. It's played into Walker. Walker chips it out to Doku on the other side. Doku is fake to make the cross, and he's made the run inside. That's not a good ball though. It's again intercepted by Liverpool, but they give the ball away. It's the kind of the game of chicken, isn't it? A little bit sometimes when Liverpool and City play. That's City against a lot of top teams. City, they try to play that game of chicken. Inside to Doku now on the left hand side. Doku and Bernardo Silva and I think that's Alvarez just kind of combining. Oh, goodness me. Oh, my days. What are you guys doing? Liverpool. They think they can pass it from anywhere. Hey, Hunter. Welcome to the stream, man. They've... oh, there's Jota. Now... And Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai still going. Is going to take the shot on, and it was blocked, but that was nice. There's been a lot of talk about Szoboszlai being really good this season. I've not really seen a lot of him because I've not been able to watch a lot of those games. Or was that Szoboszlai or was it Jones? That's the question. No, I'm pretty sure it was Szoboszlai. Jones just dawdles on the ball there. That's that's why that problem happens there. Yeah, and then Haaland almost gets in on Alisson, and Alisson just clears it away. But it's the second time second or third time I think that Alisson's been under a lot of pressure with the ball at his feet. I'd be very concerned as a Liverpool fan when you're trying to play the ball out from the back. It's not very Liverpool-like at all. And when I think about some of the best times that Klopp has had as a manager, don't think it's ever been as a team that's kept the ball and dominated a team that way. It's always been a team that's kind of hammer and tongue, run at the opposition, run all over the pitch, and like be the hardest working team, but also be really clinical and direct in their play. They don't really look like that here. They're very much. And that's partly why Arsenal beat Liverpool last season and at home, and they drew away, and probably should have beaten them away from home. To be fair, was because of the way that they just attacked Liverpool and kind of overpowered them a lot of the time. Now City with the ball, and that's well cleared again. And there's Liverpool just with a little bit of tiki-taka outside their own penalty area, but that's not gone well. And Haaland gets the ball out to Doku, and now into Bernardo Silva. I do like watching this Doku, Silva. Now Akanji's getting involved as well, but Doku, Silva, and Alvarez have created a kind of a three. And sometimes Akanji's going forward to make it a 4v2 on that left hand side. A lot of the play is happening on that left hand side there. I think they've noticed that Alexander-Arnold isn't the best at defending. It's not abuse. It's just yeah. Yeah, it's not abuse. It is just what it is. He's not good at defending. Here we go. Doku's gone round him. Oh my goodness me! How has that gone? I think Alex has he just cleared it off of his own face. I think he might have done. Doku's a bit frustrated. He does get the ball in, so he beats Alexander-Arnold for pace, which you've got to kind of assume that's going to happen. And then he plays the ball in behind towards Haaland. Alisson gets a hand on it, and it gets cleared. Is it a corner? It is a corner. Well, it's and if you guys don't already know, actually, we'll wait for this corner to happen first, and I'll tell you guys in a second. It's Alvarez. He's going to play the ball in. No, he's not. It's cleared out, and Doku's almost lost the ball. He has lost the ball now, and it's played into Salah now. He's got chance, but there's, well, no. Well cleared again. But I think for that kind of foul should be given as a yellow card because it's a foul in transition. I think this is where the laws of the game need to adapt a bit to the way the game has changed because transitions are, I would say, high XG moments. They're moments that you've got a really good chance to score because you've got space in front of you and there are not as many players back defending their own goal. And if someone commits a foul, you might call that a professional foul, and that should really be a yellow card. I think there used to be a rule about professional fouls, but I think that was more about red cards than yellows. But they don't really give yellow cards for that anymore for some reason. Not sure why, because obviously Barcelona were famous for it. Man City's early teams, Pep's early teams, a lot of Pep's teams have kind of almost professionalized the foul to stop the counter attack. But I don't like it. I think it slows the game down, and you should be allowed as the attacking team to play the ball. That gone out for a throw? It has. That was sloppy from City there. City still 0-0, and as an Arsenal fan, I'm happy with this. 0-0. Give Arsenal a chance to go top of the table tonight. That'll be a really good incentive for the boys to go and get 3 points. What was I saying? Yes, so I do also have another channel which is I'm going to be posting highlights of these streams on. Allison's telling Van Dijk, go further wide, because he's putting a lot of pressure on the man there. I think this is the thing with playing a long ball out to Salah. Yes, he's strong, but I wouldn't expect him to win an aerial duel against Ake. Here's a ball forward to, I think that was Jones. Yeah. It's difficult because like Szoboszlai, Jones, and Jota all have exactly the same hairdo. Here's Doku cutting in. He's played it out to Rodri and now to Alvarez, but it just gets hounded out of it. There's two men wide there. He could play it to. There you go. Is Doku. It's like both Doku and Bernardo Silva both had their hands up. Ball in for Foden, but that's going to be a corner again. But yeah, I have another channel. It's called Total Football Highlights, which is linked on the on this channel's page on YouTube. On Twitch, it's just Twitch. It's all live. There's nothing else really going on there. I suppose I should post the highlights on there as well, on the Twitch channel. But I'm not sure whether you think it should all just go on the same channel or it should go on two different channels. I don't know. I thought about making another channel and see how that goes. But we'll see. Here's a ball in to the box for the corner. That's headed on by a Liverpool player and should be a corner. Yep, another corner for Liverpool. Yeah. Liverpool do look like they're more under pressure than City are at the moment. As Liverpool don't have much of an outball, and the only way they can get out is by lots of little passes, which are very high risk, trying to play through the City press, the City counter press. And it'll be interesting to see what happens after the first goal, whichever one happens. I don't think a Liverpool goal won't really change the game state that much because I think City will just go at them anyway. But a City goal, it'll enable them. That's a terrible shot by Foden. It's just deflected. Don't think Foden's had the most amazing influence on this game, if I'm honest. If anything, he's kind of been a threat, been almost an invisible threat. That's lovely from Ake. He's gone inside. Haaland! It's 1-0. That is shocking, shocking defending, man. That is shocking, shocking defending. I can't believe what I've just seen. It's Ake who gets in. He dribbles past like 3 players there. 3 players. This is Ake we're talking about. He's not Grealish. He's not Doku. It's Ake. He's a centre back, and he's run through 3 Liverpool defenders, played the ball into Haaland, who's completely free. He's got one defender close to him ish, but not close enough to put any pressure on. It's an Alisson terrible clearance. That's why he clears it. He slips as he clears it. Alisson goes past 2 players, past that, and then Haaland's completely free. Van Dijk doesn't bother putting a challenge in. Neither does Matip. There go. Yeah, he steps inside Alexander-Arnold's way too easily here. He goes past Szoboszlai as well. And this is the problem, I think. People have been talking about having a player like Szoboszlai on their team. Yes, he's amazing. He's really good. This is the problem with playing a midfield like Liverpool have right now. Liverpool's midfield, does that deflect in off a defender, off Van Dijk? It might do, you know. Oh, no, off Matip, sorry. I think it might deflect off Matip. Van Dijk has a... Oh, no, wait. When he turns inside, it is Van Dijk. Van Dijk doesn't put a challenge or a good enough challenge in. And that Haaland's definitely going to be the fastest player to get to 50 goals in the Premier League, no question. I don't know why they're like, who's surprised? The next fastest Andy Cole on 65 games. But Haaland's just scored an absolute bucketful. He's scored 48 goals in 1.25 seasons. I think that's right. I don't know how many games have we played so far this season, but yeah, it's not. I think Liverpool have just let themselves down defensively in that moment. They've not been that bad in this game, to be fair. They've been all right, but there's been a kind of an undercurrent in this game of City pressure, and Liverpool haven't really had an answer to it. And that I still can't get over this Liverpool midfield is just not good enough against the big teams because it doesn't have any kind of defensive thought at all. You're playing McAllister as the holding midfielder. He's not a defensive midfielder. He never has been. It's no Basuma. He's not a, oh, here's a chance for Jota. He just kind of dribbled into a player and lost it. Yeah, he's not a Basuma. He's not a Caicedo. He's not. He's barely an Enzo Fernandez. Here's Liverpool, though. He's played the ball into Jota. He doesn't quite control it in the box. That was a really good chance, that. Really, really good chance. It's nice ball from, I think it might be Alexander-Arnold. I think he's offside. Pretty sure Jota's offside there. So even if he does control it, he doesn't goal wouldn't count it. But yeah, there's Liverpool subs warming up on the bench. I can't say I'm surprised because I think there's. But I think my problem with this is that Liverpool have gone out and bought 3 new midfielders. I think it's 3. Yeah, they bought Endo, McAllister, and Szoboszlai. Endo's the only one you could potentially say is a defensive midfielder, but they've not been playing him. So if they're not playing him, they're clearly not confident, which means they've not bought a first team CDM and they lost Fabinho. They might not have planned on losing Fabinho, but I think losing Fabinho has absolutely killed this team. Not that he was any good last season, I'm not saying that, but I think in terms of the profile of the midfield, it's just too attacking. It's like Arsenal playing Jorginho, Havertz, and Jorginho, Havertz, and Odegaard. That'd just be too attacking for anyone, let alone a top team, and definitely wouldn't play Havertz and Odegaard in the same team in midfield against a Man City. I wouldn't do that. And I think Havertz came on in the second half against Man City when we beat them. So you can't really afford. And I think that's my concern there, is that you see a couple of the angles and you see that he gets in behind, does Ake, and Haaland is like just sitting between the 2 centre backs, and when the ball's played into Haaland, the control's really good, but it's shocking. Here we go again. They just played through the midfield again there. And now Doku's got a run on Alexander-Arnold. He should go at him, and he does. He comes inside. He's going to take the shot. It's not that great. It's deflected wide for another corner. But Doku against Alexander-Arnold right now. Doku's got him on toast. He's got him on toast. Alexander-Arnold doesn't know what to do. He tries to kind of square up on him, but when he comes inside, Alexander-Arnold's relying on the defensive midfielder behind him to cover, and he's not. I think it's Szoboszlai on that side, and he's not. Szoboszlai was the player who let Ake go past him for the goal. So I think from a defensive point of view, I think Man City are organised. Their pressing, their structure, their kind of their rest defence, you might call it, is really organised, and they do really well. But this, I'm not a fan of Liverpool, the way they've got their rest defence and their pressing structure. It's easy to play through. At least for Man City, anyway. I think other teams will probably find it more difficult, but against this Man City team, I just don't think they're at it. And maybe going into this game, people have overhyped Liverpool a little bit. This is kind of what I was saying. I remember talking about this a couple of weeks ago when this game was being talked about as like, oh, it's the big game with the title rivals. I don't think so. I think this Liverpool team have still got a way to go before they can honestly consider themselves. Is that handball? No. Referee plays on. Here's Nunez. He's still going. He's still going. Salah on the right hand side. There's a lot of space here. I'm surprised. And it's not to Jota, but City have cleared it. This could become very end to end if they're not careful. Foden's dribbling, and Liverpool have got it back again. Still going, Alexander-Arnold, and in the end it's a corner to Liverpool. But yeah, Liverpool's rest defence. I don't know what happened here. So it's just a ball in behind, and Darwin Nunez. And I think if you look at that, so the reason why they had so much, there was a 3-on-3 for a really long time there for Liverpool, because all the City players coming back stopped because they thought it was handball against Nunez. You don't stop until the referee blows the whistle. So why would they stop to come back when they know it's not? That's ridiculous, that. I don't like that. Ball in the box. Well cleared by Edison. And Liverpool recycle it back out. Oh, that's almost kept it. He has kept it. That's not bad. That wasn't a good ball, though. And in the end, they're lucky Liverpool, because if that had gone to Doku, that was a really good counter-attacking chance. Simicast wide to McAllister. And into... Oh, what happened there? I think he just pushes Salah out of the way, and it might have hit him on the hand. Not so sure, though. I think it's probably just cleared in the end. Haaland on 48 goals in his Premier League career so far. Imagine if he goes to 50 and then leaves and goes to Real Madrid. Oh, that's a terrible pass. Szoboszlai. He's going to look for the pass to Nunez. That's wide, though. Shocking bit of that. They should have used the Nunez run and just use it as a decoy and then shot. That probably would have been the better play here than trying to play Nunez in, because his angle was awful. The angle of his run was taking him wide of goal. Yeah, it takes him wide of goal, and he's got like no way past. No way past. Easy. Easy for City to defend that. Not a good pass, though. And this is the thing. I think if you've got a team who can take advantage of those kind of plays, then you can do quite well. There's Bernardo Silva. He's lofted it out to Alvarez, and City can now progress up the field. They've got a lot of space. There is a lot of space. And Liverpool are starting to press with a bit more of an intensity, which is nice, but it is leaving a lot of space in the midfield. The 2-8 positions are quite free at the moment, and that's concerning for Liverpool, because they could be done here if they're not careful. Now Doku against two players for Liverpool in the end, so they do just about get away with that one. But if City can isolate Doku against Alexander-Arnold, that's the key to them winning this game, I think. So they're not. There's no way that Alexander-Arnold can defend against him. Not fast enough. He's just not a good enough defender. So ball in behind for Alvarez. That was really nice, but his touch just let him down a bit. It's a shame. It's nice actually seeing Alvarez play as this kind of number 8. And I think if you look at the way Arsenal, I want to try and defend Arteta here a little bit, because people have been ripping him apart, saying that he shouldn't be buying Havertz, and this is the goal again. So I'll talk about that in a second. But Alisson just shanks his clearance. It goes straight to Ake, goes past Szoboszlai, past Alexander-Arnold, plays it into Haaland. It's completely he's got too much space in that space in front of the centre backs. No one gets to the ball quick enough, and it's cleared. It's in. But yeah, so people have been having to go at Arteta for playing and buying and playing Havertz in that midfield role, thinking he's not a midfielder. But if you look at the way City play, it's not like, if you look at the profile, it's very similar. Like playing Alvarez, who's always been seen as a striker, is actually playing as a midfielder in a number 8 position. Havertz has always been seen as a striker, is now playing in midfield for Arsenal in the number 8 position. It's a very, very similar play. The difference is, I think Havertz is a player with not a lot of confidence right now, and Alvarez has just won the World Cup. So I think that's the reason, really, is why people would say, and this is why I would have loved to have seen Arsenal buy what's the guy who's been linked with Real Madrid now? Florian Wirtz from Borussia Dortmund. I suppose the problem with Wirtz I've had is his injury record is shocking, and we don't need another player whose injury record is shocking. That was a chance for Silva to get Haaland in again there, but it's not to be. Now here's a chance for Liverpool. They could. No, there's too many players back here for City, I think. For City to get anywhere, for Liverpool to get anywhere even. Salah's not been that threatening. And if I was thinking about Liverpool going forward, I think, yes, Salah can get you a lot of goals, but his influence, I think, is very much based on pace and being able to threaten him behind. That's going to go soon. If it hasn't already gone, I think it's going to go soon. And I would be surprised if we didn't see Liverpool eventually sell Salah for quite a lot and replace him with another player. The thing is, Saka's off the table. He's never going to. I don't think he's going to leave Arsenal unless we end up dropping out the top 4. or a ridiculous amount of money is offered from Saudi Arabia. But even then, I still think he's so key to how Arsenal play. It's unlikely. You think about other left-footed left-footed wingers, like if Diaby gets really, really good, then maybe he could be going to Liverpool. But it's difficult to really think of other players. Rodrigo at Real Madrid would be quite a nice alternative. I don't know if he plays on the left though, does he? On the right even. I think he plays on the left more often. Liverpool have won the most points from winning positions, which is an interesting stat to be pulling out against Man City. I don't think that's going to be happening. And just to remind everyone again, I'm not going to be streaming tonight for the Brentford Arsenal game because I'm going to be busy, unfortunately. I'm watching a bit of the game, but not enough to be able to stream it. Would have to leave with about 10-15 minutes to go of the game. There's Doku. Oh, was that a foul? No, referee plays on. Again, it's Szoboszlai and Alexander-Arnold trying to defend against Doku is just really difficult to see. That's offside, Nunez. Nope, well, referee's not put his flag up. Nunez is cut back. And Salah's going to try and shoot, but he knows that he's offside. I don't even know who actually flagged for the offside, to be fair. But it looked offside from the minute that Salah played the ball. Yeah, he's way offside. Why does the referee not flag? Yeah, I'm so surprised. Yeah, it's difficult with those angles to know whether Haaland actually is the player who gets the last touch. I'm pretty sure he does, but there's a chance he might not as well. So, yeah, not sure. Right. Edison with the ball deep. There's one thing that hasn't really happened much is Liverpool pressing very high from City's build-up phase. McAllister with a shot from distance. And now Salah plays it into Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai plays it into the box, and that was close. Jota just wasn't really tall enough to get there. Jones, he's got it past the midfield there, and he's running at the box. Oh dear, that wasn't good. Lovely play from Silva. That was amazing. He pirouetted around 3 players there to get it out, and now it's 3-on-2. Here's Doku. He's got Haaland to his left. Here's Alvarez to his right. Oh, and he's trying to set up Haaland, and it goes wide. What a great chance that was. That was really, really nice. That was really, really nice play from Bernardo Silva. Again, that was just magical. It's amazing. He could potentially, I know that Haaland's obviously probably going to end up winning Player of the Year again if he scores loads of goals, but Bernardo Silva this season, man, has been absolutely amazing. He played really well against Man United, played really well against Chelsea as well. That was nice from City, and they've now caught Liverpool in their build-up phases. Doku trying to run in behind, still is not in the end. Matip just about gets there, and now Liverpool could be in here. Darwin Nunez. He's got in on the right-hand side here. He needs to try. He's not really a winger, though, is he? He's just going to try and run past the defender. It's well blocked. It'll be a corner. No, it's a goal kick. Wow, there you go. I didn't have any confidence in Nunez in this position, and I've got to say, I think at the very top level, Nunez has got a long way to go. Liverpool fans might not like me hearing me say that, but he's got a long, long way to go. That was a goal kick as well. That was really well played from Diaz. I think Diaz is not Diaz. Nunez is the kind of player who can run in behind and score through the middle or off the left maybe, and obviously jump up to head to score goals. But apart from that, he's not like a Firmino who's going to set up other people to score goals. I did actually see there was a compilation of goals that he's set up for Salah this season, but I mean, if you're any, I think it's pretty easy. Oh, surely Haaland's in there. Surely, nope. Plays it to Foden. Foden's still going. Foden with a shot just wide. That was a really, really good chance. That, well, no, not 50-50. I don't think it was an amazing. It was a half chance, but it was a really nice shot from Hart. He made a lot of it. Lovely ball from Edison into Bernardo Silva in the midfield. I don't know how Liverpool players don't track that ball. Goes wide to Foden. comes inside both the centre back, and it just goes wide. Is it a save? It is a save. It's a great save, I think, from Alisson. It might be going in, you know. It's just about going in. It's a great save from Alisson. That really, really good save. McAllister has got something in his eye, maybe. I'm not sure. Not sure what's happened there. He's just putting his hand to his eye if he's got something on his eye. Right, 1-0. We've got a minute left of the first half, plus injury time. Here's the corner for City, and Ake jumps but heads it over the bar. That was a good chance, that. Very, very good chance. City, I would say, have absolutely been the better team. Absolutely been the better team. I think it's not... I wouldn't even say it's close right now. Like, they're miles ahead of Liverpool. Liverpool can't get into this game, and this is where Anfield really makes a big difference, I think, because well, there you go. You got Man City, Tottenham next weekend, which is going to be a really... I think City will win that game pretty comfortably, because Tottenham's absentees are pretty big. That's a ball in the box, and that's all. What's he done there, Edison? He's just palmed it out into the middle of the box, and it's in the end outside the box for Liverpool. They've still got it though. That was really weird, very strange. Here's McAllister, and still plays it out to Simicas, and now on to Jones in the midfield. And they're just kind of recycling it around the midfield now, just trying to look for a way through this City team. But the rest defence, as I've been saying, for City has been really strong. They've been really, really good. Today, I think this might be the best I've seen City play this season, actually, to be honest. Difficult to think. Maybe the Man United game, but then I think a lot of teams look good against Man United. This is a Liverpool team that's been in a lot of very, very good form. And I think at this point, given how the first half's gone, they'll take 1-0. They'll absolutely take 1-0. There you go, half time. 1-0 to Liverpool, 1-0 to City, even 1-0 to City. I tell you what, if Liverpool can get a point out of this game, they'll have done really, really well. But I think this City team are just too good. They're too good for most teams in the league, and it just kind of goes to show, I think, that the achievement of Arsenal and Wolves to beat this team is really, really good. Because they're a really, really tough team to play against. Right, we're going to go to a little break. When I come back, I'm going to be talking more about this team. We'll talk a bit about the game. I'll definitely be back for the second half at least, but maybe not for the actual break itself. So I'll just check if we've got everything. No, we haven't, because that's not there. Give me a second. Let's just rearrange all of this. But yeah, City are beating Liverpool 1-0 at half time. Anything else that needs to change here? We'll get rid of you. You. Add that. Add that. Add this one. Right, there we go. Right, I'm done. So yeah, I will see you guys in a minute. Not in a minute, in about 5-10 minutes. I've got to eat my lunch, basically. So I'm going to be back in a minute, in 10 minutes. Right, hello, welcome back to the stream. And here we've got Liverpool. Well, it's Liverpool losing 1-0 to City away from home. And I think if you're a Liverpool fan, getting away with a point would be amazing. Getting away with 3 points is just unthinkable, I think, at this point. It's very, very difficult to see how Liverpool are going to win from here. I don't even see how they're gonna draw. Like, and I don't like to be down, but it's it's a really really tricky kind of situation for this Liverpool team. Very very tricky. Um, and yeah, not not a massive fan of the way that they've had their defense and where they've set up and the way they've pressed. It's not been great. So but then this is City. They are the best team in the league right now. It's kind of a bit boring to say, but it is they're the best team. To be fair though, and what I do like seeing is a lot of like very very good play. Um, I love seeing the play that City do sometimes, especially that Bernardo Silva pirouette in the first half. Towards the end of that first half was amazing. It was really really good. And hey, if City go out to entertain us tonight, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are, um, then I think it's going to be an entertaining watch. What we do need now, though, I said earlier what would happen if City scored, and I literally City scored just after that. Um, what would happen if City scored? Would the game state change massively? Would Liverpool go at them more? And then that is kind of what's happened. In the end of that first half, Liverpool did go at them and it opened more space for City to exploit, especially in the 2-8 positions. In those centre attacking midfield positions, there's a lot of space there, and if City are brave enough, they can push Bernardo Silva and Alvarez into those positions. There's so much space there for them to take advantage of it. If they can get the ball to them, then it's meat and drink for players like Doku and Haaland and Foden. Although Foden's a weird one. They're just getting ready to kick off the second half here. Foden's a weird one because I don't know um, if this team has necessarily if they're using Foden as like almost a fake winger, almost like a false winger, um, or are they kind of just using they actually want to use him as a winger and he's just not really having an impact on the game. I don't know. It's difficult to tell, but this is the second half has kicked off now, and it's got to be said that I think City are absolute favourites to win the game from here. They played so well first half. If they replicate that second half, they'll win the game, no question, and set themselves up for a Champions League game, which is basically null and void. I think is there a drone running around this stadium here? Because you're seeing like reflections on the pitch. Like, oh my days, phone. Haaland had so much space there. It's crazy. Someone's down on the other side of the pitch for City. They're playing on their City, and I think they're still playing on. As a foul for Liverpool, for City even. Um, yeah, but it looks like that. I have seen sometimes there's been and there it is again. There's like a drone that runs around the stadium, but because of the way the sun is shining at a particular angle, it's coming off the. It's quite low as the sun at the moment, and it's coming off the drone and reflecting onto the pitch. Makes it look like someone's shining a light on the pitch, which isn't what they mean to do. I don't think. Um, I don't know how they get around that. It's quite tricky unless they just cover it all in black. But I'm guessing the glass on on there gets in the way. Haaland's pressing and just played around by Matip. Haaland's going to go at Allison now. It's interesting that City are happy to go and press the goalkeeper because obviously that creates a lot of space in other positions for Liverpool players to get the ball around them. But they haven't. Liverpool haven't really exploited that at all. They've kind of been quite slow and ponderous playing through the thirds. a lot of the time. His Sabozlai just plays it into Ake. There's no... Oh, there is a free kick. Okay, right. All the players stopped, and I was like, why have they stopped? Very, very confusing. But Liverpool have the ball back. Later, of course, today, I don't have a Brentford Arsenal watch along for you, I'm afraid, because I will be too busy towards the end of that game to be able to stream. So I'll just be watching as much of the game as I can, along with everyone else. I only really want to do a live stream when I'm able to do the whole game from start to finish, and I'm not gonna kind of stop it halfway through. That's a nice ball in behind, but that Akanji gets there. Well recycled by Liverpool though. Here's Salah. Salah plays it into Alexander-Arnold, and I think they're going to get a throw here, Liverpool. It's it's a good... That's a nice little positive start, I think, from Liverpool there. But they've got to be, and again, I'm never really convinced. I was saying this earlier. I was actually listening to a bit of the talk at half time on the Sky Sports studio, and they were saying that Nunez looked a real threat, and on 5 Live as well. They were saying that Nunez looked a threat, and I was like, really? He runs around fine. He makes good runs. That's not the problem. It's when he gets the ball is the problem. I don't think he doesn't look clinical. Like Haaland got the ball once or twice in that game. I don't think he had that many touches, but the one time he got the ball in a goal-threatening position, he scored. Nunez has had the ball in a goal-threatening position at least 2 or 3 times, and he's not scored. So I think it's I don't understand the positive nature behind Nunez at the moment. I don't get it. And the people are saying he is in form. Yes, he's scored a few goals, but this is City we're talking about. There's a ball in the box for Liverpool, but it's well cleared by City, and Foden's running onto this, and Alexander-Arnold does clear it pretty well, although City is still putting the pressure on. Tsimikas just about clears it in the end, and then Salah even. Salah running inside Ake, still going. Got to be careful, Salah. In the end, it's a goal kick to City. That was really well played. Very well played. But yeah, so that was Salah against Ake, and here's a really good example of a fullback who's actually able to defend. I think it's really interesting how Liverpool's approach to playing 4 defenders is you play the 2 centre backs and then you play 2 actual fullbacks, and if anything, they're very attacking fullbacks. City have been known at times to just play 4 centre backs at the back, and you can almost regard Kyle Walker. I reckon Kyle Walker could play at centre back if he wanted to. He is that good. Obviously, he plays at fullback for City, but he's like a centre back, and then you've got Diaz, Akanji, and Ake, who are all centre backs by trade. And yes, they can play. They're all good footballers, so they can kind of interchange in positions. But generally speaking, they're good enough at centre back, and that's their forte. Bernardo Silva with the ball out wide. That was just intercepted that time by Alexander-Arnold. He's running in, and that's a ball in behind, and it's going to be a corner, is it, to Liverpool? Yeah, it is. That was unusually wayward pass from Bernardo Silva. It was a good chance to get the ball out to Doku on the left-hand side, and that's the risk that Liverpool are having to play now, because they're essentially left Doku one-on-one with Alexander-Arnold. And if Trent doesn't get that pass, if he doesn't intercept that pass, no chance. I think he's beaten for pace by Doku there. So here's the Liverpool corner now. If there's one place that City are a bit weak this season, it has been off set pieces. That's a ball in. It's really well taken by Edison, though. And it's going to go for the long throw into, well, it was into Foden, but well headed back by the defender. Jota's still running at him, but Walker does so well there again. Does really, really well. And now here's Haaland. Played it into Alvarez. Doku's completely free on the left-hand side here. He's got McAllister's going at him. He's going to beat him. All ends up Doku into... Oh, my goodness, what a terrible shank that was. I don't even want to call it a shot. It wasn't a shot. He just shanked it with his left foot. Alvarez You wouldn't have known he's right-footed, would you? You would. It was a. He's definitely right-footed with a finish like that. It wasn't an amazing pass back. He just kind of. Well, I know it's kind of just dribbling on the ground, isn't it? I don't think that's. I think that's just a terrible finish. Terrible. Does it bobble? No. I think he's expecting it to bobble almost, and he just kind of gets underneath it. It's a shocking finish. But he has got a player coming, is running at him as well. They're not. Oh, okay. I was going to say I thought they were waiting for a corner. They're not. They're waiting for Jota, who's gone down with an injury. He's not really had an impact in this game, Jota. Is this interesting? Oh, Diaz. Yeah, Diaz is getting ready, and I don't know who that is. Gravenberch. Okay, Gravenberch is a bit more of a defensive player. They need that in the midfield right now, and I don't know who's coming off. Jones, probably, I would assume. I don't think they'd take off Szoboszlai. He'll be one of their best attacking players from the midfield. I just think, when you think about some of the best attacking, the best performances by Liverpool over the years against City, they've contained a team that have three midfielders who, yes, some of them they have good-ish attacking potential. You think about that midfield of Henderson, Fabinho, and I don't know, like Wijnaldum or someone like that. Like Henderson and Wijnaldum used to play very good crosses and get wide and put the ball in the box and that kind of thing. And Fabinho would hold down the midfield, but all three of them would work as much as they can off the ball to try and stop the opposition from isolating their fullbacks, which was usually Liverpool's biggest weakness. They now don't have that. Szoboszlai doesn't work hard enough, I don't think. And Jones, who's gone off, he does work hard, but I think he's a bit limited. City have won the ball again in the Liverpool final third. Here's Foden, who plays it into Rodri, chips it into the box, and Bernardo Silva. Oh, and Haaland with a volley with his left foot, and it goes well over the bar. Again, that was a chance that I think he was kind of expecting it to come to him a bit quicker than it does. It just slightly mistimes it. Unusual for him there. I think if he leathers that, it goes in. There's no way that he gets that. Alisson's gone long with this goal kick. And Doku's playing. Oh, he is playing, yeah, I was going to say. We've switched sides. So it looked like he was playing on the right. He's not, he's playing on the left. That's a nice play from Edison. He just played it out there to the midfielder on the right side. Kanji. This is a much higher Liverpool press now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in shots already. 6, 7 now. 8. I'm assuming 9. Yeah, 9, 10 players, 10 Liverpool players inside the City half, and they've won it back. That's quite brave. I'd expect Edison to be able to ping one here long eventually. I think that's what's going to happen because City have got a lot of players. Liverpool have got a lot of players forward here. He has ended up pinging out to Walker. But yeah, that was a lot of players forward for Liverpool there. I was a bit concerned, but they don't really have much of a choice at this point. I think with the game being 1-0 to City, I think Liverpool were happy to be a bit more defensive before, but they just weren't good at it. Now here we go. They've pinged it forward. It's to Doku though, which is a strange choice. Don't know why you wouldn't just go along to Haaland there. Not sure about that. Here's Salah on the right hand side. He's played it and he's got it back. Salah into Szoboszlai. Now Salah had the ball played into him, and Ake's got to him really well there and got the. It's given away the corner, but I think that's fair. That's fine. I think you'd take that. You don't really want Salah to be isolated against you one-on-one. That's a difficult thing to do. But Ake's done really well at left back. Done very, very well. I remember kind of thinking that when he played against Arsenal left back, I was kind of annoying that they ended up playing as he didn't even play that well, and I think he scored against us in the FA Cup. Here's the Liverpool corner, headed out as far as McAllister. And I think that's Trent trying to play the ball in, but that's an awful cross. And now Doku could be in here. Doku against Alexander-Arnold. Almost beats him. Goes round one player and another one. Liverpool have got the players back now. But Bernardo Silva, it could be a bit disorganised here. Alvarez on the right and on the left, sorry. And now back to Bernardo Silva, and City have comfortable possession now in the midfield. It's yeah, I think what was I talking about? It was Doku did look quite threatening there at that point. He looked quite, but unfortunately he got the ball and it was on the right hand side, and he wasn't about to motor past Alexander Arnold on that right hand side. I don't think it's more difficult to do that on the outside. Here's Rodri from deep. That's a lovely ball to Walker. Walker controls it, gives it to Foden. That's well blocked. Walker back to Alvarez. Couldn't quite control it, but in the end, it's offside. Who was offside there? Not sure who was offside there. That was a chance, though. City, obviously, if City get a second goal here, it's over. That's fair. I think Liverpool getting a late goal can't be discounted from this game because they have very much been a kind of a moments team in this game. And Salah's gone to the middle here. This is an interesting change. Nunez on the right hand side, Salah down the middle. I don't think so. And here's Nunez. He's running on the right hand side, and Ake gets a tackle, and I think he's surprised it's a corner. I'm pretty sure it was a corner. It looked like a corner to me. Let's have a look. So he gets the tackle in there, and it does actually come off Nunez. Fair play. Yeah. Yeah. Players usually know best, especially when they're especially when they're and there's a corner again. Pep's kind of crouched in front of his seat, petrified. City giving away a corner here, and now Salah has the ball in the box, so kind of hooked it over. It's kind of agricultural, but that's cleared by City again. Liverpool are not being very threatening from set pieces. I suppose thinking about it, they don't have that many tall players. They're not that strong, and I wouldn't think that set pieces would be something they would necessarily work on that much. So yeah, I don't know. Gravenberch plays it back to Nunez. Nunez driving inside has the shot, but it's well saved. That seems to be a signature move, doesn't it? Dribble a bit on the inside and have a shot from anywhere. Haaland just holding his foot up, and that's not a foul. And City keep the ball. Now it's hoofed long. Alexander Arnold had no idea where that ball was. He was very, very lucky. Very, very lucky. Salah, ooh, that was a terrible challenge. Bernardo Silva bringing back memories of playing left back against Arsenal and being beaten every time by Bukayo Saka. And now here's Trent wide. Here's a chance here. That's a lovely ball into Nunez, and that's a massive interception, that one from Ruben Neves, because Ruben Diaz even, if he doesn't do that, then Neves gets the ball. I don't know if he necessarily gets the ball in a shooting position, but he definitely gets the ball very deep in the penalty area for Liverpool. Another corner. This is a lot more threatening from they're starting to build a lot more pressure. Tsimikas with the ball in. And it is headed straight at the goalkeeper. That was a really good chance, that for Liverpool again. I don't know which centre-back it was who got on the end of that one, but it was one of them. Van Dijk should be doing better with that if it was him. And it's now City with the ball in their own half. This has been a good response from Liverpool. But again, I seem to remember we did have a few moments like that in the first half as well for Liverpool, and they just didn't look clinical. And this is the thing, I think, if Liverpool if they're not clinical, they're going to really suffer in the big games. I think they're going to really suffer. Foden's offside there, surely. He looked like he was standing offside. Play goes on. There we go. Offside now. Nice to see the referees actually willing to put the flag up when the player's offside, because it's not happening very often these days. And I was talking about this. When was I talking about this? It's one of the Premier League games before the international break when I was saying that refs, or it might have even been the Wales games actually, refs are just being too afraid to put the flag up. Yes, there's this new directive where they're saying that you don't put the flag up just in case that something develops and it happens to be onside. But when it's clearly offside and you know beyond doubt that it's offside as an assistant referee, you've got to put the flag up. It's a nice ball in behind there, and now here's Gravenberch walks inside, but well taken by City, and now Doku menacing gets the ball deep, but he's beaten 2 players already and a third, but it's kind of going sideways there, and now Foden. It's gone a little slow there for City. This is where City would have liked to have brought on Grealish, I think, because he'd be able to control the game. Oh, that's a lovely ball inside. Here's Alvarez. Alvarez plays it out to Foden. There's a ball to the far post. Oh, and he somehow. So I was thinking there was a ball to the far post there because Bernardo Silva. If Bernardo Silva had just held back, I think Foden gets his pass wrong there. I think Foden's aiming for the far post, but a bit further across where Bernardo Silva was running. He ends up running past the line of the ball. That's a terrible ball that for Liverpool, and City have it again. Here's Foden into Rodri, and they're keeping it back. But yeah, it's that was a really, really good chance that for City. I think if they, as I say, if they score a second, this game's over, and they establish a 4-point lead at the top of the table at the moment, which is menacing, and it puts the pressure on Arsenal. As I was saying before, it puts the pressure on Arsenal to win this game. To win their game against Brentford. They absolutely have to do that. But as I was saying before, here's Doku against Alexander. He's played it back. Oh, it almost found its way to Haaland. I don't know how it did, to be fair. Now it's gone back to Rodri. He's going to take the shots, and that's deflected just wide. That could have been handball. There's a lot of appeals for handball. It's really difficult for me to tell because the way where it went, it's just the sun's shining quite heavily, so it's very, very difficult to tell. But there is a VAR check going on. There will be, because they always check these. That's not handball. It's why are you appealing for that, man? Sure, it comes off his leg, right? With that angle, doesn't tell us anything because the Rodri stood in the way. But I'm pretty sure it's just a corner to City. But again, it's like giving Rodri really, really loads of space to shoot from. It's sometimes unavoidable, but you've got to try and put some pressure on. Then more than that, here's Alvarez with a corner. It's gone to the far post, and it's flicked over by Ake and out for a goal kick. 25 minutes to go here, and City look more and more like they could potentially just walk away with the win here. I think Diaz being on the pitch hasn't really changed a great deal. With Jota, it's almost like they're trying to pair Diaz and Salah together and leave Nunez out on the right-hand side when they've done that. But they do look a bit more interchangeable now compared to other players, compared to when they had the 3 before with Salah, Nunez and Jota. Edison put under a bit of pressure here, but well played. And City just calmly playing the ball out from the back here. It's something they've done quite a lot in this game, and they just don't look that flustered. Whereas Liverpool, when they try to do this, they look very, very flustered. Liverpool do have the press on here, but they've got to be careful they don't give. Oh yeah, like that. They've given them space, and now there could be trouble because the break is on. Here's Doku on the left-hand side against Matip. That's not good. Oh, and another good ball in again. Well cleared by Gravenberch, but that's the problem with the way that the press was constructed there from Liverpool. They had a huge gap. They actually allowed they allowed Bernardo Silva to get the ball facing his own goal and then turn. And then when he turns, he has his freedom of the pitch to just choose to pick a pass from anywhere. And there's like 3 or 4 good passes on, plays the quick one to Alvarez, and they're in. And then all of a sudden 3-on-3. And I think this is the problem with Liverpool. If you're going to press City, you've got to construct it in the right way. They haven't done that. That's a terrible bit of goalkeeping. I think it's gonna be a foul on the goalkeeper, but the goalie. I might be wrong here. My instinct there was that the goalie was. He had the ball in his hand. He went to get the ball, and it fell through his hand. But I think they've given the foul against him. What happened here? There's not a lot in it. He tries to get the ball. Does he get? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think that's a goalkeeper blunder. That should be 2-0 to City. That should be 2-0 to City. It won't be because I think the goalkeepers are some goalkeepers are protected, not Arsenal ones, but some goalkeepers are protected. VAR are having a look at this, and I'm like, well, if they don't give the foul here, then I don't have a great deal of I don't have that many complaints. They've let the play go on, yeah. So it is a foul, but I think that should probably be 2-0 to City. I think this from the distance from my first instinct was that it wasn't a foul, and then but I think and it's more just a bit of terrible goalkeeping from Alisson. And I've got to say, like Alisson's been regarded as possibly the best goalkeeper in the world, for the last year or so. He's not been very good today. He's not been very good at all. That's another giveaway by McAllister that time. And in the end, it's going to be a free kick. Not sure who it was who gave that away, but he fouled Alvarez. It's if you don't, yeah, I think it's a tricky one. But yeah, Alisson has been seen as one of the best goalkeepers. That was not sure that was a foul either. Really, Alvarez just goes down. What happens here? He pushes him in the back a little bit, and he gives away a foul. Okay, I'm not sure about that. This is very different to the game between Chelsea and City, where there was a lot of fouls that should have probably been given in that game, and they weren't. This one was not a foul, but City have a free kick. It's about 30 yards out. It's about 30 yards out, but it's Bernardo Silva and Alvarez over it. Bernardo Silva's going to put the ball in the box. That's awful defending. He must be offside, surely. Rodri was completely free in the box. There wasn't anyone within 5 yards of him, but he must have run a bit too early. Yeah, he did, yeah. Well held line there by Liverpool. Caught him offside. And then in the modern game as well, people get very worried about players getting that space in the box, even when they're offside. They're like, oh, they shouldn't have that kind of space. But if the team's played the offside correctly, then surely it's absolutely fine. Doku could be in here. If Bernardo Silva plays the right pass, he doesn't. He just tries to run around. Oh my days, that skill. Oh, what a shame. That was really, really good skill there. He runs around. He almost does like a 360 and beats Matip, but he ends up kind of falling over towards the end and doesn't keep control of the ball. He's got to make sure he reins back that Portugueseness about him, though, and don't complain and carry on playing the game, because that could end up costing them if he doesn't cover his position. That was an easy ball into the midfield for Liverpool, and now Diaz has got it wide to Salah. He's now playing on the right-hand side. And into Nunez. Good save by the goalkeeper there. It's interesting because you had two. You had like Nunez running really, really far, really deep, and Diaz just behind him. So I didn't actually know where this ball was going here. But Nunez did get the ball in the end. It was nice. Good play. But again, it wasn't on target. So we talked about like when they get the ball, do you get the consistency and the clinical striker in Nunez? No, you don't. Here's the cross in the box. That's an easy take. That's a really high flighty cross as well. It's just easy for goalkeepers to get that. Really easy. Gakpo's coming on now for Liverpool, or soon. Probably difficult to guess, potentially for Szoboszlai, because I've seen him employed in midfield for Liverpool this season. Ake's under a bit of pressure here, and Salah's got the toe in. Yeah, I've seen him been employed for Liverpool this season in the midfield. Number 8's coming off Szoboszlai. Yeah, Szoboszlai's not been that great for all the fuss about him this last few weeks, and people saying he's better than Odegaard and that kind of thing. Not for me. Not for me. I think he looks okay, but Odegaard makes an impact sometimes in these big games. He made an impact against Newcastle last season. He made an impact against Spurs last season. He made an impact. Let's see, Man United. He played pretty well. This season, I don't think we've necessarily seen the best of Odegaard. I think he's been struggling with injury, and so the fact that his position's somewhat changed a bit. But yeah, I think the problem with Szoboszlai is he's not really allowed in this Liverpool structure the freedom to play that kind of number 10 role that he was so well known for. I think it was in Germany when he played there before. I think it was Leipzig, and he was offered this number 10 role, and he played really, really well in that number 10 role for years. Liverpool don't have a structure tactically that allows you to do that, really, to have a completely free number 10 role with no real defensive responsibilities. And I don't think he's really good enough defensively to play for Liverpool, really. But there you go. Which is a weird thing to say about an attacking midfielder, but the problem is they don't have the cover. If they had that defensive midfielder, I think he plays a lot better, and he's allowed much more space against a Man City. But yeah, that's a terrible giveaway by McAllister again. McAllister's not. I don't think he's had the best game, but I don't blame him. He's playing in a position that's not really. He's not suited to. I don't think he ever played proper defense. That's a terrible foul by Nunez. That. Yeah, deserves the yellow card. That's the kind of transitional foul that should be getting a yellow, but I think the referee is more inclined to give the yellow because there's only 15 minutes left, which I don't like at all. And the referees, because the game's so competitive, you've got to start. If you give yellow cards early in the game, don't worry about it because players will adjust their behaviour to your refereeing standards. And if it's because of the transitional play that you give the yellow, teams will stop doing those professional fouls. End of. Free kick to City. They're going to sling this in the box. Look for Haaland. They've got Haaland, Rodrigo. They've got like 5 really tall players in there. Well, 4. I don't think I count Ake as a really tall player, but he is a centre-back. Got all 4. Well, 3 centre-backs in the box and Rodrigo. And I'm still waiting for this. I'm not sure what's going on here. Here's the free kick. Here we go. Haaland on the, well, just kind of gives it a bit too much. Goes over the bar. He struggles to get there. He does get there, but he just kind of doesn't really get any direction on the ball. There's only 15 minutes left. We've been here before. If I remind you of the game against Arsenal, it was 0-0 until the 80-something minute, 86th, 87th minute, and then Arsenal had a position to score from, and they scored. It's got to be said that I think City they've been so dominant in this game. Is that true? Have they been dominant in this game? I think they have. Thinking about it, they just look like they're going to be more threatening, and they've had control. I think that's probably the better way of saying this. They've had more control in this game than Liverpool have. Whether they've been dominant or not, I'm not sure. So now Foden's on the floor. Diaz is saying, "I didn't do anything." What happened here? So Diaz uses his arm. He uses his arm and then flicks and then just no. Foden, get up, mate! You absolute. Someone mentioned the chat earlier using the word sissy. I completely agree with that because that was stupid. It's like a little. He doesn't even slap him. It's not even that hard. His his hand makes contact with his face, but he's pushing his face. Oh, it's not even that. It's like he makes contact and that's it. And Foden goes down like he's been punched in the face. So yeah, that happened. Not great. Liverpool just about, well, do they? Yeah, they just about get the ball away. Alisson clears it and it goes straight out for a throw. Liverpool, yeah, City have more control in this game and therefore should probably be 2-0 up. Because they're only 1-0 up, I'm concerned for City that Liverpool could potentially go away and break and score. I don't think they should. It's like the way that City have played this game, there shouldn't really be an opportunity for Liverpool to do that. But we'll see. Here's Doku. He's played very well on the left-hand side. He's not necessarily gone at Alexander-Arnold here, mainly because there's two players. And Gravenberch covering on that left-hand side has made a big difference to stop Doku from having all the space. It's a ball in behind here. Here's Bernardo Silva, just whacks it into the middle of the box, but it's cleared. And now Salah plays it out to Diaz on the left-hand side. He's got Nunez running ahead of him. Salah's now making the run far post. That was unfortunate. That was very unfortunate. It was cleared by City, and the referee gets in the way. So that'll probably be a City drop ball. Yeah, that's very unlucky. But yeah, Diaz gets the ball and he sees that there's a ball there for Salah, but his pass goes wrong. And now here's Diaz. He's free on the left-hand side here. He's playing against Matip. He's gone straight past Matip, and there's Haaland. Oh, what a save. Save, I think. I'm not sure. But it's definitely didn't go in. It's Gravenberch now running past Rodri here. And now giving it to Diaz. Liverpool looking a little more threatening. But this whole game has just gone very end-to-end here very quickly. That's not the best of balls. It's gone to Salah. He is onside. Here's Alexander-Arnold. It's 1-1. Oh my days, what's just happened? That was some shocking defending from City. He just does not cover the man. He does not cover Alexander-Arnold. And that's the attacking talent that he has. That was absolutely brilliant from Alexander-Arnold. He sees the space. He's running towards it. He's given the ball by Salah, and he just takes the shot. And that's the clinical nature I was talking about. They've got Alexander-Arnold, who's a more clinical player than Nunez, who's had most of the chances. What a big goal that is for Liverpool. Talk about from the ashes. That was really good. Salah gets the ball, and then Alexander-Arnold just allowed too much space. And so, yeah, who's supposed to be marking him? And that's the question, I suppose. Alvarez tries to get a boot in there, but he's not really there for it. There's a complete absence of anyone in the midfield and know where Rodri is. And he drills it far corner and it's in. This is the best bit about it. He takes one touch with his right foot and then just shoots. Not like Nunez earlier, where he's takes 3 or 4 touches and tries to shoot and it goes wide. It's just clinical. It's really, really good. It's a massive moment. And I was saying earlier, City have had so much control in this game. How on earth are they not 2 or 3-0 up? They should be, based on how the game's gone. And now they're back to 1-1 and they've got to win the game all over again. I just don't think... Yeah, I think that was really lax from City. Really, really lax. And that could cost them 2 points if they're not careful. And this game's back on. This whole second half, I think it's almost been dawdling towards a 1-0 win for City. Just because Liverpool haven't threatened enough. But committing that extra man forward in Alexander-Arnold, and all of a sudden they've now managed to get it. His Doku, who, as I said earlier, he's not been that great this second half either. He's not, and now City have lost. Have they lost? Nope, they haven't. They've got it back. Here's Doku again. Doku cutting inside, but that's well taken. Akanji tries to get it. That'll be a foul. Yep. Gakpo complains, but it's definitely a foul, and it's going to be a free kick to City. It's not too far out. This one is a bit closer than the one I had earlier. About 25 yards out. Close enough for a shot, definitely. A really, really good chance this for City. Well, I don't know how we're in this position. City have been 1-0 up for a while, and they've been the better team for most of the game. And I'd like to see a bit more of a wider angle of that goal for Liverpool, because I want to see where Rodri is, because he would probably normally be the one shielding that back four, stopping a player like Arnold from getting in and taking that shot. It's inside the penalty area by the time he takes the shot as well. It's very, very deep, the defence from City. And I just don't think they expected Alexander-Arnold to make that kind of forward run, given that he's an inverted fullback. And he's usually been kept quite deep. He's not really made those inverted forward runs. But they needed to do it, and here we go. Right, Alvarez over the ball. Looks like he's the one who's going to be shooting here, I think. He is going to take the shot. It's nice, but it's headed away by the defence for Liverpool. Alexander-Arnold on the left-hand side here gets the ball clear, but it's gone straight to Walker. Not the best of clearances. Alvarez gets it out to Doku. Doku needs to start taking these men on here, because yes, he's two men. He ends up just kind of dribbling the ball back. That was nice from Doku, but didn't find him. City still have the ball. They've got... Oh, here's Doku. He's completely free on the left-hand side again. He's against Matip this time. He takes the shot, but it's well cleared again. And now here's Salah. This is exactly the kind of game that City would not have wanted. It's very end-to-end. Ake clears the ball, but I don't think... I think this game was going swimmingly for City until that Liverpool goal. It was going really well. Endo and Harvey Elliott coming on. I think they're going to be going a bit more defensive here. Harvey Elliott's definitely coming on for Salah. Endo for... Oh, no, Nunez. Interesting. Okay, unless Nunez is coming off for Endo, but I don't think so. Endo for McAllister? Yeah. Endo for McAllister, and Nunez coming off for Harvey Elliott. So is it even a front three anymore? I don't think it is, really. Not with Elliott. I think Elliott will probably play as more of a cam, supporting the midfield, stopping that play going on there. It is so 1-1 with 5 minutes to go. 5.5 minutes to go here. What a... Well, it's kind of ridiculous how this game has gone, to be fair. It's not what I would have expected. But Liverpool have shown a bit of grit. And if they can get a point in the Etihad, it'll be the first time City have dropped points at home in any competition for 23 games. And that's not bad, to be fair. Harvey Elliott back to Matip. It does go to show again, in a big game against one of the top teams, City have... I wouldn't even say they've struggled in this game, because they have been the better team. That's not a foul. Oh, ref. Oh, ref. Oh, ref. Okay, so Doku gets the ball on the left-hand side, dribbles past a couple of players, and then just launches himself. Launches himself over a player and gets the free kick because of it. He's not been fouled. He's won a free kick. Yeah, so what happens there is Matip he puts a leg out, but look at this. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. From one angle, it looked like he just puts his leg out and nothing happens, but it's not a good challenge, because if he puts any more pressure on that, he does actually almost injure Doku, because he's put his foot over the top of the angle of his ankle. And you know what? No, fair enough. I will take that back. That was a free kick. Absolutely. And they've won this free kick, and it's a really good chance for a header. Here's Bernardo Silva with the ball in. That's a good chance, and it's headed over the bar for a corner to City. Endo getting in there. I do wonder why Endo isn't given more of a chance for this team, because I think he's a good player. He's a good defensive midfielder, and it's exactly the kind of player Liverpool are missing. Irony being that he's come on now with the position of them actually winning the game. Oh no, not winning, drawing the game, getting a point when they didn't look like they were going to. That's an inside-out ball. That's he's just pushed him over the line there, hasn't he? He has. Allison's just like laughing at it there. It's just like what was I supposed to do if someone's just falling back? Oh dear. Oh dear. I agree with him. I think what happens there was the ball kind of it's almost clipped in such a way that it curves back in towards the goal, and Allison catches it, but Akanji's challenging in the air with him, and then Akanji, as he's landing, ends up pushing him backwards and landing. He's not deliberately doing it. He's just falling over, but yeah, Allison ends up back in his own goal because of it, and the referee blows for a free kick. Well, Liverpool have it here where they've given it away, and now that's a ball in behind. Oh, what's happened here? The Kanji with the head injury. Yeah, he's got to. The players are complaining, but you've got to blow the whistle when it's a head injury. Yeah, the City players are complaining, but you've got to blow the whistle if it's a head injury like that. You've got to blow the whistle. It's in the rules. I don't know why they've got to be careful, these City players, because you're going to get booked. I don't know who that was who got booked, but you got to get booked. That Bernardo Silva, yeah, yeah. Bernardo Silva got booked for that, which is fair because he's complaining when the rules. Sometimes I don't mind players complaining at the referee for a subjective decision, but that's not subjective. The ball, the player gets hit in the back of the head, goes down, clutching his head. He's clearly in pain. If he has a concussion, the game has to be stopped. It has to be dealt with. Obviously, the time will be added on, but you can't be complaining at the referee because of that decision. Definitely not. There are plenty of decisions I don't agree with the referees, but not that one. Right, game's back underway. Looks like Akanji's okay. And it's not, again, given that City were off on the break, it's not like Akanji would feign an injury with City in that position. That was a meaty challenge, that from Gakpo that time. Looks like finally, it's taken about 89 minutes, but there's a bit of physicality in this game. It does feel like this game has been very much a technical game. It's not been a physical game. And there's not been that many kind of crazy challenges going in, not like the Tottenham, Chelsea and City games that we've seen recently. The two Chelsea games that have been involved with recently, the Tottenham Chelsea and the Chelsea Man City, where there were a lot of challenges in those games. And it was very difficult to referee those ones. But this one's been easy. There's not even been that many yellow cards, I don't think. Yeah. Pretty sure there hasn't been that many yellow cards at all. So you have the ball. Now we're in injury time and there's 8 minutes. That makes sense. About right. The ball's gone wide here to Doku. He's inside the penalty area. Oh, he's just miscontrolled it. That was a really good chance to get in there. He still might do. And in the end, he just dribbles the ball out of play. Tell you what, Doku's not been as good this second half. Alexander-Arnold's done a lot better on him. Done a lot better. He's done really, really well. I don't think it's necessarily just him. I think it's just having someone alongside him to support him. Because just by himself, I don't think he's good enough to defend against a player like Doku. And that happened a lot in the first half. Second half, I think since Gravenberch come on, he's been a lot more defensively aware. Szoboszlai has sometimes done that as well. But every time I've seen Doku get on the ball, it's been pretty quick that other Liverpool players come to cover. I think it's fair to say Liverpool are taking the point here. I would, as an Arsenal fan, if this were my team, I would take a point at the Etihad. Take a point, move on, take it back to Anfield. In a way, you've got to look at these games as two-legged games in the league. I think obviously the situation changes every so often, but I don't think you can go to the Etihad and need to win, because if you're needing to win at the Etihad, that's a really difficult position. So getting a point here puts the pressure on City. Will probably allow Arsenal to go ahead of them if they were to beat Brentford later, but also. I mean, can Spurs do that? Actually, that's a point. Let me just have a look at the table here. So if Liverpool and City were to draw, Spurs are on 26. They would not be able to go ahead of City now. Because their goal differences. They'll be able to go level with City, but not ahead of City, because their goal difference is inferior. Not that I think the Spurs are going to beat there. I don't think they will. But here, old Doku's just nicked it twice. Referee's not given the foul, and he's going to give the foul now. Even though City was still trying to play out from that position, and he's given the yellow card as well. Who was that? Gakpo? I don't know. There was fouled by a few players there, I think. Nope. Oh, yeah. No, Endo. Yep. That wasn't a good challenge. Liverpool have the ball back, though. Here's Salah. Plays the ball inside to Diaz, but I don't think he's going to beat Walker in that race. Nope. It's yeah. So it's an interesting. I think the other point as well about the fact that they've drawn this game is the fact that City again in a big game against the top 6 team. Bear in mind that we're talking about Liverpool. Here's Doku. That's well played again. There's like 3. They need like 3 or 4 players to get by him. And City have missed Grealish today. Oh, Haaland. He's chased onto a ball there. He's not going to be that threatening though. Not from that position. Might just try to win a corner here. Yep. I think City in the games against Arsenal, they've lost. If this stays the same, Liverpool draw at home as well. And that's where things get a little bit concerning because their record against the big teams has usually been pretty good over the years. If they don't have as good a record against the big teams this year, their record against everyone else is going to be absolutely vital because they need to basically go almost perfect to go and win the league. If they have a poor record against the big teams. Obviously, they beat Man United, but whether you'd count them as a team that's really challenging at the top, I don't know. I don't think so, really. But against their 2 closest rivals, Arsenal and Liverpool, they've not won. Here's Doku. And Bernardo Silva, that was close. I don't think it was going on target, but it was a good block. Bernardo Silva again plays the ball into no one in the box. And Elliott clears it. And now Doku has it. And here goes Rodrigo. That was nice. Onto Foden. City are really pressing now. Bernardo Silva into Doku. He's going to pass it. Don't know why he passed that, though. He should have shot. Should have taken the shot. City still have the ball. Liverpool have to try and press out here and relieve a bit of this pressure because there's 3 minutes of injury time left. And this could be really big. Here's Foden on the right-hand side. Not had much of the game. I'm not even sure that City have actually made many changes here. That's not a good ball again from Foden. He's been awful today. The amount of times he's had the ball and he's not. I mean, he didn't contribute to the goal. He's not really contributed a great deal in the game overall. I think, and again, they're missing. Who else would you bring on for Foden? This is the question. Would you put Bernardo Silva on the right hand side and then put someone else in the midfield? I don't know. But there is a consideration to say that maybe Foden isn't as good a player as people think he is. It's very difficult to say that especially if you're part of the mainstream media. I don't think anyone says that these days, but he's just not. Today, he's not had a good game. And I think there's a few times I've seen him in the big games where he's just not played well. And maybe there's a bit of growing that needs to be done there in terms of mentality and just like push yourself to make the impact in the big games like this. Because Saka, if you look at direct rival, like Saka is a direct rival of Foden, especially for England. And he's, oh dear, City almost get the ball back. I think they have done that. Haaland isn't going to get that, no. It should be cleared by Alisson. That was not a good clearance, though. What was that? Just scuffs it straight to the centre-back, and now it's going to be a ball in the box. And it's going to be cleared again. Here's Doku. Doku goes back. That's a nice ball in the box, and that's going to be a corner. Yep. Alisson's now gone down with a leg injury. And This may explain a bit of what's been going on here. If he's been carrying an injury all game, that's not good. I'm not even sure. I don't know who Liverpool's backup goalkeeper is, but he can't be that good. But that's a concern, that for Liverpool. 1 minute left of injury time. He's got to be careful he doesn't lose out here. Corner to City. Akanji is basically man-marking the goalkeeper here, which is interesting. Oh, and that's gone just wide. What a chance that was. I don't know who that was. Was that Haaland? Someone gets the ball in behind. Someone, oh dear, there's like 3 City players who are running in. The ball goes into the 6-yard box. 3 City players. It is Haaland. And if he gets any more on that, it's in the goal. At the far post. He gets highest. He just tries to flick it with the back of his head. And I think what he needs to do is just kind of get a bit more on it and it's in. It's a really, really good chance for City, that. City are dropping points again. As an Arsenal fan, I'm delighted. But I think if you're City fans, I think now maybe is the time to start being a bit concerned, because they've dropped points to Arsenal, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Wolves. And it might get worse if Liverpool make something of this attack. I doubt it. That's a ball in behind. Here's Diaz. I don't know what that's all about. What's that, Diaz? Just heads it up in the air for the goalkeeper. Is that it? Full time. 1-1. Well played, both teams. I think a lot of people will look at the final score and say, oh, Nunez is angry. Nunez is angry at Pep. I'm not sure why. Oh, come on, man. The guy could start a fight by himself in a flipping office. I've never been a fan of Nunez. I'm going to get that out there. Never been a fan of Nunez from the start. He can be a bit of an idiot sometimes. I remember watching his first game for Liverpool and get sent off. Just a bit of an idiot. But now, like, he's now having to go at Pep. I don't know why. What could he possibly have? He's not played that well, but his team have got a point. Take the point, go home. And I think a lot of people will look at the final score of this game and think, oh, okay, Liverpool, Man City, 2 good teams. Close. Yeah, they're both equals. That sounds about right. I would disagree with that, because City have been the better team in this game up until, definitely for the first half, absolutely, and up until about halfway through the second half. Then by the time that second half gets towards the like 65, 70 minutes, yeah, I think Pep and Klopp are fine. There's no issue there. But I think that for some reason Nunez is just not happy with Klopp. Not happy with Klopp. Not Klopp, sorry. Not happy with Pep. Don't know why. But yeah, it's people will look at those two and say, well, they're closely matched teams, right? So surely a point is a fair result. I would disagree. I think Liverpool were fortunate to get out with a point in this game. They fought their way back in, but it wasn't through sustained pressure that they managed to get the goal to get them back in. I think they're let back in because City don't take their chances. If City take their chances in this game, they win this 3 or 4-0. But in the end, that's how it goes. There you go. What a point for Liverpool, and this obviously sets up the title race. Let's not talk about title races yet. I don't think we're quite there yet. Looking at let's have a quick look at these stats there first. There you go, like 60% possession for City, 5 shots on target, 14 in total. Yeah, they've dominated this. Like, they've absolutely dominated this, as they normally would at home. That's kind of how it would normally go. But I still think this is a game that City should be winning. 9 times out of 10, they probably win this game. And that Alexander-Arnold goal is massive. That makes a massive, massive difference for Liverpool. And it kind of comes out of the blue a little bit. So here's the table then. So we've got City top. Oh, actually, this is not an updated table. So what should be happening here is let's just have a look at this. So let's see if I can update the table. There you go. Refresh. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So City are top 39 points. Liverpool then, sorry, is that 30 or 29? I think it's 29. 29 points. Liverpool 28 points. Arsenal 27 points. Tottenham 26 and Villa 25. So with the games later, Arsenal playing Brentford at Brentford, they could potentially get if they get a win, they go top by 1 point. They go up to 30 points from 13 games. Not bad for the start of the season if they get that. But I've got to say, it's still a tough game. Still a very, very tough game for this Arsenal team. Then Tottenham play Villa tomorrow. If Tottenham were to win, they go up to 29, level with City. If Villa were to win, they go with 28, level with Liverpool. And obviously a draw doesn't really get either of them anywhere near. It does marginally allow United, Newcastle and Brighton to get closer, but they're still a long way behind. Even if the United win, they're on 24, 5 points behind City after they've had a few of these bad results. What's coming next, though, for City is a huge game against Spurs. If they beat Spurs, obviously, hunky-dory, happy days. But I would expect them to have a difficult game in that one just because of the way Spurs play. I still think that City will win that game because Spurs are not at their full strength, which is a shame. But yeah, it's a big game next week for City to respond a little bit to some of the criticism that no doubt will come. It'll absolutely arrive from a lot of people this week because they should have won that game. They didn't. And I think people are now expecting, given that City are on such a high pedestal now, they're expecting City to go and win the league by a country mile every year. Can they do that this year? If they keep getting results like this against the top teams, they haven't played Villa yet. They've played Liverpool, drawn, played Arsenal, lost. They're playing Spurs next week. They've played Man United and beaten them. I think they beat Newcastle. I don't know if they've beaten them yet. They haven't played Brighton yet. I don't think they've played West Ham yet. And they've played Chelsea and drawn. There's a lot in the top half of all those teams in the top 10. The only team they've beaten is Man United. And maybe Newcastle. I'm not sure if they've played them yet. So that's a bit concerning. I'm really surprised actually they've got as many points as they have given that record, but they've got a lot of games coming up later that are going to be tricky. Right, deep breath. Not quite the roller coaster of Liverpool Man City games in the past, but definitely a game that I think I enjoyed watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching with me. Thank you very much for watching. I will be streaming tomorrow for the Everton Man United game. And I'll obviously talk about everything else that's happened in the Premier League this weekend. But for now, I'm going to see you later.